Oh my goodness, oil country. Oh my goodness. We have things to talk about that pertain to the Edmonton Oilers and more specifically their trade deadline and some of the news that has come out this morning as of March 3rd, 2025. As you can see, I'm not wearing an Oilers jersey, right? I'm in my athletic gear. I was getting ready for a workout and all this Twitter stuff started blowing up. I was getting tons of notifications. I was like, what the heck's going on here? Elliotte Friedman tweeting about Viktor Arvidsson. I'm like, oh, maybe they're going to trade him. Maybe Viktor Arvidsson's being moved today. And I was getting all excited. No, I found out Viktor Arvidsson actually has a full no move clause. Okay, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, that really does, prevent the team from having a good opportunity for moving Arvidsson. Now, no move clauses don't mean you can't trade a player, right? We see people and players all the time waive their no trade clauses to get moved somewhere, whether it's to a contender, they need a fresh start somewhere else. That's not really a huge issue. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, it's bad. Like, the fact nobody in oil country knew that Viktor Arvidsson had a no move clause, I think that's an indictment on Oilers mainstream media as well. Like, not one person in Oilers media knew about this. And also, why? Like, why was this not public knowledge? Puckpedia, they kind of are the resource that most of us use since Cap Friendly was bought out by the Washington Capitals. Even that wasn't posted on their website because a lot of this stuff, a lot of the public data that we have and public contract knowledge is kind of like it's crowdsourced and they only know what is being given to them. And they eventually did some digging and they did confirm Viktor Arvidsson has a no move clause. So that puts a damper on trade deadline expectations because I've been working on a whole trade board, what Oilers should be on the trade block, what players the Oilers should try and acquire, and Viktor Arvidsson was on my trade block. But it's tough to put you or a player like him on the block when they have full trade protection. So it's like, okay, fine, maybe they can't move Arvidsson. Maybe he does waive anyways, like who knows. But then something else happened. Elliotte Friedman tweeted again about Adam Henrique. And I'm sitting there going, I was like, oh no, don't. Yeah, no, Adam Henrique also has trade protection. Yep. Now, I will admit, I'm going to be fully transparent with everyone here. I liked the Adam Henrique signing. I liked the Viktor Arvidsson signing. I liked the Jeff Skinner signing. You can go back and find my videos from July 1st, July 2nd, last summer in general. You can go back and find those videos where I was very vocally supportive of these contracts. I was supportive of the players that Edmonton was bringing in and retaining. And I said, you know what? This is going to be great. I like that we're retaining these guys as long as they don't fall off a cliff, which unfortunately Adam Henrique is one of those players that has fallen off a cliff. I liked the deals. However, if I had known that Arvidsson was given a no move clause and Adam Henrique was given a no move clause, I think I and a lot of other fans would have been very, very vocally against that because you should not be giving this many no move clauses to your bottom six and guys in their 30s and guys with injury history. I don't know what the heck Jeff Jackson was doing. And Stan Bowman is completely handcuffed in this situation now. Like, there is a lot of blame to go around for if the Oilers don't end up making any significant moves at the deadline. Because they do need an upgrade in net. They need a top 4 defender, and they need a top 6 scorer. But they have so much of their roster that has trade protection that it's going to make making a trade really, really difficult. And I feel like all this is coming out right now, few days before the trade deadline, just to set expectations, just to let the fans know, hey, if we can't get a deal done, this is why. And it makes me wonder why it's taken so long for all of this information to come out, all this knowledge to come out. And there are only a few Oilers that do not have trade protection. Give me 1 second. I have it written down on my phone here. So the only forwards on the Oilers without trade protection, supposedly, because who knows, maybe Puckpedia and Elliotte Friedman will come out with another bombshell and they'll say something else. But the only forwards on the Oilers without trade protection currently are Corey Perry, Kasperi Kapanen, Connor Brown, Vasily Podkolzin, and Matthew Savoy. And out of all those players, the only players that the Oilers actually signed themselves were Corey Perry and Connor Brown. Kapanen was a waiver pickup. Podkolzin was a trade pickup during the summer. And Matt Savoy was also involved in a trade. Those are the only forwards that have no form of trade protection at all right now for Edmonton. And that is extremely handcuffing when it comes to their flexibility and their ability to make a trade and upgrade this team at the deadline. Why are we giving guys in the bottom 6 trade protection? Maybe I'm old school. Maybe it's because when I was growing up, the only time you ever saw trade protection on contracts was usually to superstars or a young player that was drafted and had a lot of potential that a team wanted to make sure that they locked in long term. Those used to be the only times you saw real trade protection be given to guys. The Oilers and Jeff Jackson specifically just hand out trade protection like it's candy. Like, oh yeah, you're 34 years old, Adam Henrique. There is signs that your game is starting to decline. We're not asking you to score 20 goals like you were in Anaheim. You're going to be our third line center. We'll give you a 2-year deal. Also, how about a full no move clause? How about that? Does that sound good to you? Oh, Viktor Arvidsson, you're in your 30s now. You're coming off of major surgery, rehab. We have no idea if you'll be able to actually produce like you used to coming off of this injury. Here's full trade protection. And with term, you get this year and next year as well. What are we doing? And it doesn't help that Evander Kane, which we have to talk about Evander Kane as well, because this pertains to the Oilers' ability to make moves because of the cap situation here. It sounds like Evander Kane does not want to sit on LTIR until the playoffs. He wants to get into the lineup before the postseason. And if that's the case, if they do, what is it called when a guy comes off LTIR? I can't remember the name right now because my brain is just, I'm so shook at all this news that's come out here. If they do activate him, that's the word. If they activate Evander Kane before the playoffs, well, they have to make sure that they have that cap space available to do it because that will no longer be LTIR pooled. Like they would have to make sure that they have that cap space available for his cap hit. If Evander Kane does not want to play ball, if he does not want to play ball with the team, if he does not want to be a team player and sit his ass on LTIR until the postseason so that the team can find a way to use the $5 million plus in cap space that he or his contract has for the team right now to acquire an upgrade or two, then you absolutely have to trade him. You have to trade him at the deadline. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If he does not want to be a team player here, you absolutely have to move him. That's just the situation here. And Evander Kane, historically, a lot of people aren't going to like hearing this, historically is not a team player, right? I'm going to separate what Evander Kane does off the ice in the community in Edmonton because that is very positive. It is very good. What he does off the ice with kids, his charitable work through with hospitals, the donations that he makes, all the drives, all the charitable drives that he is part of, fundraising initiatives, that's all fantastic. And I will always, always, always respect that. But this is a hockey team. This is a business situation. And if you are not being a good employee with your employer, sometimes they have to find a better fit. And Evander Kane, historically, with other teams that he's been on, he wears his welcome out. And with his age, his injury history, his style of play, he's a power forward in his mid-30s. How effective can he even be if he does play for us anyways? Like that's the other thing too. Like that's the other question. We see how long it takes a lot of players to come back from major injuries and find their game and be able to produce consistently. You're asking Evander Kane, who by the time the playoffs start won't have played hockey for 10 plus months. You're asking him to jump into the playoffs and be physical, score some goals, be a menace on the ice, and actually be able to contribute positively to the team. That's a pretty big ask. That's just my opinion. That's a pretty big ask. But when it comes to the Oilers trade deadline now that we understand that this team is truly, completely handcuffed right now, this is brutal, right? This completely changes the entire trade deadline narrative. It completely changes my approach to trade deadline content because now I have to rework my entire trade board. I have to rework what would even be realistic for the Oilers to do at the deadline. And if Sam Bowman can work a miracle, I may forever, I won't say I'll forever like him, but I'll forever respect what he's able to do with this roster. Jeff Jackson has completely handcuffed this team. He has completely taken all cap flexibility away from this roster. And I don't want to sound hyperbolic here, but he may have slammed the window shut on the cup contending status for the Edmonton Oilers, just on his own. And the fact that Edmonton mainstream media has been quiet about this, the fact that all of them either didn't know or didn't want to report on any of the no move clauses that were handed out during the summer, that's an indictment on mainstream media in Edmonton as well. Because does the organization not trust the media, or are they told not to report certain things? In any case, whatever it is, if the organization specifically tells them not to report certain things, or if the media themselves just don't know, if they're just not in tune with anything that's going on, that's a huge indictment, and the fans deserve better than this. This is absolutely wild to me. So that is it for me. That is my news update. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think the Oilers can even do right now with their cap situation, because this is not looking good here in oil country, and it looks like the most realistic upgrades we're going to get are a fourth line center and a depth defenseman, because that's going to be the only room that they have at this point. Let me know your thoughts, Oil Country. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, tell someone that you love them. Fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers.